We are back, and I'm getting on my soapbox. Okay, so we're going to talk about Raw. A lot of Judgment Day. There were 3 segments of Judgment Day.
Yeah, you complained about that last week.
Yeah, because they did it again.
Yep.
I'm sorry. But the thing is that the numbers aren't lying here. 1.809 million next to 1.848, and there was a 0.56 demo instead of a 0.49. You have to take the good and the bad here. The demo is really, really strong, but at the same time, you lost some viewers. Like, how can we do this consistently? Drew McIntyre is competing on an extremely high level, and Imperium splitting, I think it was just a one-off. People need to chill on that, to be honest with you. The 6-man tag was a fun main event. I did like it. People did lose their minds when Finn Balor and Damian Priest hugged, so they're like, okay, we're not going to do that. The women's tag match was absolute garbage. Dominic Mysterio and Finn Balor was a legit nothing sandwich because that was just to set up the 6-man tag, which felt like a house show main event, and that should not be happening on Raw. We need some consistency on Raw, and we need something that makes sense on Raw because this sort of felt like thrown together hogwash, to be honest with you. That's really all I have. Ricochet and Logan Paul. They had a decent back and forth, but once again, even though Ricochet did the flip in front of Logan and Logan's reaction was great, Logan still eviscerated him on the mic. I'm sorry, people. Get over it. Logan Paul is a good wrestler. Let's go to NXT.
NXT Judgment Day,
Yes, NXT Judgment Day. So, once again, Carmelo Hayes is getting pinned by Finn Balor. Why? Unless Finn Balor is going to be going for the NXT champion at Great American Bash, which he's not. It's Ilya Dragunov going for the title. There was no reason for the champion to be pinned here. Like, why did we do that? Because you could have had Trick be pinned here, and it would have been better. But no. You have the supposed face of the company getting pinned by Balor.
Yeah, not a good move, Sean.
Because remember, this happened on Raw last week, where Finn pinned Carmelo Hayes again. So there was just no reason. But they did not have to compete with Independence Day this week. So they actually did very good numbers. It was a 671K next to 508, and it was a 0.2 demo instead of a 0.13. So a really good bounce back. Almost 200,000 people more watched it from last week. So, I can't be too mad about that. Braun Breaker and Ilya Dragunov was a very good match. Braun Breaker is ready. Why haven't we called him up yet? Because reasons. Tiffany Stratton should not be competing in non-championship matches. Once again, I always complain about that because it is true. Why? Because I'm right.
Okay, then.
Chase U and Charlie Dempsey and Drew Gulak had a fun little match, and that's really about the only things. Oh, yeah. Kalani Jordan, the new girl that they're really wanting to push. Why did we have to pin her? Why did she get pinned by Cora Jade? It's so weird. This was very weird booking decisions overall with NXT, but overall the show was fine.
Shawn Michaels is a little bit better.
Yep. Dynamite, hooray, we're back to them. 825,000 next to 855,000. It was a 0.29.
How did you lose after a holiday week? Most people took that whole week off.
Yeah.
How did you fucking lose that?
Yeah, they lost that. You know why? Because they just did not put on good stuff. Nobody cares. And they kept the same demo. It was still 0.29, so at least they kept that.
Demo god, right?
Yep. And that's what I love, too.
Speaking of demo gods.
Chris Jericho and Commander had a fucking mess of a match. Commander not hitting Jericho like 3 times of his moves. Stop it. Just stop. I don't know why people were losing their mind over Commander. He is not that good.
No,
seriously.
He's not.
Like, seriously, choose the Kingo.
Right.
Why? I don't... Stupid. The Blind Eliminators were a fucking travesty. They were so bad this week. I don't even know what to tell you. The whole magic with Adam Cole and MJF, it's cute, it's fun, but it's more backstage crap. And it's like...
It's actually quite irritating to me.
And also... If MJF wasn't the world champion, I probably wouldn't have a problem with it. In fact, I would probably say it's the best.
Look at how WWE books their world champion compared to AEW. Even Impact books their world champion better than like stupid backstage shit.
Hell, even Seth goddamn Rollins. He's a comedy goof, and yet he's the one who draws.
But they're not doing backstage stupid shit with him.
He's not going for the tag team champions.
Right.
He's not playing around. He's focused on one thing. And MJF, it's like, oh shit, he's the AEW world champion. I almost forget about it sometimes.
Right.
And that's not what you should have. To be honest with you, half of the champions that are in AEW totally
I don't
forget
even know who half the champions are.
Yeah, exactly. And that's a bad thing. Wow, I totally lost my spot. So, Ruby Soho and Sky Blue was an absolute nothing. Nick Wayne, this prodigy, 18th birthday. They basically had him signed when he was 16. He's not that good. I don't get it. This was my first exposure of Nick Wayne. I do not get the hype. He's just a wrestler.
Right.
Like, what is he doing? Danhausen is a better wrestler because his character is awesome. Where has he been?
He has an injury.
Oh, again?
Yes.
This is his third injury, but since he's been with AEW, too. That's hilarious. I mean, that's just really bad. Oh, yeah, Kota Ibushi's big pop, but the rumors are true. Kota Ibushi got lost in the airport.
Yes.
And Kenny Omega could not find him.
Yes.
What a rinky-dink company. This would never happen with a place like Impact or WWE. That would never, ever happen.
No, because you need to get to the arena like hours before the show starts.
Yeah, like what the hell?
Like isn't there a call time or something?
Yeah, there is a call time. So why did they have him do this? I think they wanted to be like, oh, hush, hush, surprise. But it's like WWE.
Even surprises in WWE, their call time.
Yeah,
exactly. They just have them cordoned off in some other area where they're not seen by as many people.
Right, get to the building. Anyway, Impact Wrestling, kind of everywhere, but I actually got ratings from last week.
Hooray!
So they got 232,000 people watching it last week, and it was at .02, so not too bad. But that was last week. I don't know this week's. I tried to find it. I couldn't. Zachary Wentz had a fun opener with Chris Bay. I was happy about that. Why was the Knockouts Championship on the line? This was the show before Slammiversary. And Knockouts World Champion was on the line. The match was fine, but why here? Could you have waited until next week to do this? Because you already had Peraza and Trinity.
Who was Yana facing this?
She faced Jody Threat.
Oh, okay.
Because I think they were in her hometown.
Oh, okay. Well, that makes sense. But why put it on TV? Why not just make it a dark match?
Right. That probably would have been better, too. And Joe Hendry and Yu Uemura taking Kenny King and Shelton John was a mess. I have no idea what happened there.
They're not even teams, though.
Kenny King and Shelton John are.
Oh.
But Joe Hendry and Yu Uemura are not. This was just kind of a weird show. This felt like matches.
Again, this was also just leftovers.
This was the go-home show.
Yes.
Why didn't we focus on anything like the main event scene or the X Division champion match? They did not show up on the show at all.
That was weird.
Yeah, it's super weird. But it was a fine show. It was whatever sandwich. It felt like the matches that they just couldn't get anywhere else. Right. They just kind of
because they edit it,
Yeah, they edit
and post.
We go to these shows. They do like 4 shows in 2 days. Right. It's fun. I like it. Smackdown. Last week, they got 2.561 million in a .76 demo. That's insanity.
Yeah, on a Friday night.
.76 is their highest demo, I think, since like 2020.
Jesus Christ.
That's that's like regular sports demo number.
Right. Anyways, let's talk about the show.
Yes. Asuka and Bianca Belair had a good title match. It's good to see that they're putting this title on the line. But I think I made a judgment call about the women's cycle a little bit too early last week. They had a little more direction with it, but please, if you work for the company, you don't have to go and buy a ticket and watch. Yeah, they weren't supposed to be at ringside. Then don't have them be out there. We had that 3 times during the show, and it was super annoying. But other than that, this was a perfectly acceptable show. So, Brawling Brutes and Pretty Deadly should probably talk about this. Will people stop complaining to Ridge Holland about injuring him? It was a accident. And also, it was a separated shoulder. You know how long he's going to be out for? Like 2 to 6 weeks.
Right.
He's going to be fine. Like, he didn't need surgery. It wasn't torn. It just came out of socket.
Yep.
As soon as he left his feet, how is that Ridge Holland's fault?
Right.
He's done that move 1,000 times. Big E's was a freak accident.
Yes.
And this one was too. Like, he should not be blamed for it.
Right.
Now, because it was a pounce. It was a pounce, and Elton Prince did like a backflip. And
Right.
basically landed on his shoulder. That's what happened. The moment that he left his feet, there was no responsibility on Ridge Holland on that behalf. The buckle bomb is because Seth Rollins, or whoever does buckle bomb, is in control on where that person goes.
Right.
But when you do a pounce, you have no idea what that person is going to do. As soon as their feet leave, as soon as that contact is done and they're off, what can you do?
Right.
You know? But that's just kind of a weird thing that I saw, and it was really annoying. Bianca Belair doing this tweener, I'm a babyface and I'm a heel, is annoying. I want to see a heel Bianca Belair.
Right.
I
think WWE's a little scared to pull the trigger.
I know, but I feel like they would be interesting on what they could do with a heel Bianca Belair.
Right.
And you won't know until you actually do it. She had a little bit of a pouty attitude, and she attacked both Charlotte and Asuka, and I was like, cool. I can see more of this, a little more of an aggressive Bianca Belair. Also, Bianca was a heel. She was a heel in NXT at first.
That's true.
But then she became a babyface. The Bloodline segment, once again, good. Same thing every single week. It is what it is. But once again, 0.76. You know, you cannot go wrong with that.
Hey, let's talk about Collision.
Collision, last week's numbers. I obviously don't have this week's, but it was 580,000 last week, and it was a 0.21 last week. That is still down. That is still down from the week previous.
Mm-hmm.
This trajectory is not good. This is not good. And also, the arena that they were in had a seating capacity of like 6,000 people, and they couldn't fill a part of that. That's not good.
Right.
But the tag team title match was good. It was a good match.
That's what I heard.
And they are trying their best because they had a lot of competition for wrestling on this show.
Yep.
Because
that was the same time as
Slammiversary and Triple Mania.
Yep.
This is why you don't do a regular weekly show on a fucking weekend. It's annoying for me because I have to watch it on Sunday, where that was usually my day off. But now I don't. But it's so frustrating.
Anyways.
CM Punk and Ricky Starks was interesting, and Ricky Starks won.
Yep.
And then Willow Nightingale won.
Willow Nightingale's not good. I don't know why she won.
This was the finals, too.
Yeah.
Like, they made this a huge deal the first time around, and then now it's like on a show that's not even getting 600,000.
Right.
I'd be shocked if this got 5, to be honest with you. And then they had like a random House of Black match. Thank God there were only 4 segments on the show, or else I would have been pissed off. But that was my soapbox. Let me know what you thought about the shows in the comments down below, and leave a rating. Now, we're going to be talking about Slammiversary.
Yay.